Hi everyone, my name is Melody. Welcome to my channel where we talk about responsible consumerism by the way of project pans, no buys, and tips on how you can be the most ethical consumer you can be. Today I have another installment of 3 palettes in 2 weeks, and I had a fun time with these palettes in the last 2 weeks. I tried to use them a little bit more than I have been using them for this series in the past, just to get more uses out of them so I can give more examples and more opinions and all that sort of thing. As you probably recall, I also have 3 blushes in here for the 2 weeks, and I'm coming up really close to running out of blushes, and at that time then I'll just go to using nilly-willy blushes however I feel. My thoughts on the palettes that I used. I am a little bit sad to be done with these palettes. I know I will still have them in my collection. It's not like I can't go back and use them, but I will have to retire them until I work my way through. So I have the ABH Sultry palette. This is, I believe, my favorite palette right now that I own because I love all the colors in here. I love the looks that I can achieve. This is one that I will pull out for special occasions and use it. So I branched out at one point and used this bloom color, and that's a color that kind of intimidates me. I'm just not into bright colors, but I used it and it was a lot of fun. It wasn't too bold or anything. I really took time to buff it out and it looked really good. I used this birch color, another one that I don't use a lot, and that worked out great. So, and I especially love this palette because of the black and the dark brown, so I use them as liner a lot of times, and these shimmers are just gorgeous. I use this Dose of Colors palette, and this is a fun one. It's not the most everyday friendly palette. If I stick with the mattes, fine, and even this, the kind of champagne-y color, that one is good for every day. I did use this one too all over the lid and it was fine, but just a little bit darker than I would like if I'm not going anywhere. But who sees me, so who cares? And yeah, so this was a lot of fun. I'm glad to have it in my collection. Third palette I have here is this Charlotte Tilbury Charlotte Darlings palette, and this one, in my opinion, out of the Charlotte Tilbury shadows I have, is the best quality. It blends so easily. It is just so nice and beautiful. I love it. And I was able to make some really nice looks out of this. There aren't huge number of distinct looks that you can make with it, but that's okay. It's so easy to use. It's definitely worth it, and more variety in here than in her quads. What I found with the 3 palettes that I had, they're all very pigmented, so I didn't have like a quick, just, you know, if I was going for like a no makeup look, I didn't have that in these 3, so I probably would have rearranged it a little bit had I thought about that, but no big deal. I just put on eyeshadow, you know. I didn't go for the no makeup look, essentially. Whoops. Okay, so the 3 blushes I used this time around were the Dose of Colors Pink Dahlia Duo, monochromatic blush duo. And I use this Phase Zero Making Moves Peach blush. And then I use this Glossier Cloud Paint in Storm. So this is such a beautiful color, and I love to pair this with Sultry, so I made sure it was in the same rotation as that. I'm just not the best at applying liquid blushes because I just always end up getting it all the way down here. And I'm working towards not doing that, but it somehow seems to always happen. But the color is beautiful. The Phase Zero blush, this peachy one from FabFitFun, it's a nice blush. I think if I didn't have a significant blush collection, like if I were not super into makeup and received this in FabFitFun, I would be really, really happy to own it because there's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't beat out some of the other blushes I have in the same color family. And this Dose of Colors Pink Dahlia, this is quickly becoming one of my favorite blushes. When I naturally flush, this is the color that my cheeks become. So for that reason, it's very natural. It is a little bit more pigmented, so you have to go in with a lighter hand, but it's really, really fun and I love it. So moving forward in this series, I decided that instead of 2 weeks with 2 palettes, I'm going to do 1 week because I don't want to keep this series on my channel for too long because it's not very popular, number one, and number two, I am at the point where I miss my palettes and I just want more freedom in going through them, so I want this project to be done sooner rather than later. So actually, I think I'll be able to use them the same amount of times in the 1 week as I do the 2 weeks, because for the most part, I'm using the palettes like twice each. So I just have to apply makeup more often, which is no problem for me. I enjoy it, so not a big deal. So I have to apply makeup more often if I do it all in 1 week instead of 2 weeks, but that way I'll rotate through everything twice as fast, and I'm still just gonna put the 2 weeks in 1 week, or in one video. So coming up, I didn't set aside the second week worth of stuff, but that's okay. But coming up for next week, I have my brand new Marc Jacobs palette in Flamboyant. I'm really excited about that. I'm wearing it today. I have my ABH Soft Glam. I think everybody knows what this one looks like. This is one of my very favorites. And then I have this KVD Por Vida, Lolita Por Vida palette. And this is also a really fun one. I love these special shades in here, and it has a really nice variety of colors, but I'm getting ahead of myself. That's the kind of stuff that I say next week or in 2 weeks. For blushes, I have a Makeup Geek blush in Secret Admirer. I have an INC or Ink blush, or Incredible. Be My First Kiss is the shade, and it is kind of a peachy cream, like a whipped cream almost. And then I have this Tarte blush that came from the Clay Play palette 2 that I depotted. So that's coming up, and the second week for that rotation I will pull probably close to the end of this week, and you'll find out in the next video what it is. Alright, thanks so much for watching. Bye!